Hello and welcome to this Channel 8 Sports Special. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro, host of Sports Talk, with you this afternoon at the J. Doyle High School field, where the East Brunswick High School Bears will take on the Sayreville Bombers. I'll be bringing you the play-by-play, and joining me in the booth this afternoon will be Jimmy Allinder, Sentinel sports writer. Jimmy, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Jim, you know, on paper, East Brunswick comes in at 5-0, Sayreville 2-2. Really doesn't look like much of a matchup. Your analysis?
I might agree with that, John. You're right, on paper it doesn't appear to be too much of a game. You have East Brunswick coming in, as you said, with a 5-0 record, averaging 31 points a game, and really has been virtually unstoppable on offense this year. I would attribute that to the passing ability of Steve Hughes. East Brunswick is really doing well in his passing this year. Not only is he a fine passer, but he has really shown the ability to scramble well, and I think that's also been an asset for the Bears. He has a fine core of receivers to throw to.
Yes, he does. And we're talking about Flanagan and Ciliberti, his two primary receivers, as well as Bob Rushnack, who plays tight end.
Exactly. And Anthony Pilato.
True, right.
And
Tony.
Also the two horses coming out of the backfield, Derek Rowe, Glenn Pazinko, who I understand is not playing today from a twisted ankle.
That's right. And we should mention that at the outset. Glenn Pazinko will not play in this game. Twisted an ankle last week in the game against Woodbridge. Coach Borden feels that he wants to rest him for the big game next week against Stevens. Jimmy, what does Sayreville have to do to stay in this game and possibly, come up with the upset?
Right. I talked with the head coach, Milt Theodosatis, I get that pronunciation right. And he told me that the key to stopping East Brunswick is to concentrate on their weaknesses.
Which are?
That's what I'd like to know. Their offensive line, I don't see anything there. I see them being dominant in that area. As what we talked about, the quarterback, clear edge, receivers. Defensively, we didn't talk about that yet, but East Brunswick has quickness, it has size, mobility. Maybe Milt knows something we don't.
Okay, let's get ready for the opening kickoff.
Sure.
Then. Good afternoon. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're at J. Doyle Field this afternoon, where the East Brunswick High School Bears will be taking on the Sayreville Bombers in a Middlesex County Conference game. I'm John Meggiolaro. I'll be doing the play-by-play for you this afternoon. And joining me in the booth will be Jimmy Allinder, Sentinel sports writer. Jimmy, we talked a little bit in the pre-game about this matchup this afternoon. Really, it's going to be a difficult job for Sayreville, I would think.
Yeah, I think so, John. They don't match up well with East Brunswick size-wise. I don't think they have enough speed to contend with East Brunswick. We're just going to have to wait and see what Theodosatis, the Sayreville coach, tries. He's always been successful in the past in taking programs which have not been doing well and then bringing them up. And he introduces a wide variety of offenses, and I think he's going to try to confuse East Brunswick.
Okay, you see Steve Hughes, number 14, and Paul Lynch, number 73, captains for East Brunswick, out at the center of the field for the toss of the coin to start the game off. As way of background information, East Brunswick comes into this game 5-0, having defeated Woodbridge last week 31-0. We see here that East Brunswick has won the toss and will receive. East Brunswick will be in the green jerseys or dark jerseys and will be moving from left to right on your screen.
John, Marcus Borden feels that this is the best team that he's ever coached, including the ones where he was an assistant at Bethlehem Catholic in Pennsylvania.
That's some compliment, I would think.
It really is. That was his immediate assignment before coming to East Brunswick last year.
Well, we're about ready to go, and before we witness the opening kickoff, I do want to mention that on the center of the field, you will see a Bear logo, and that was designed by Mr. and Mrs. Al Todoroff for home games, and it's a welcome addition to the game.
John, keep an eye on number 9, Derek Rowe, for the Bears. He has run back a number of kickoffs, long distances.
Rowe is back deep. Joining him is Andy Weinberg and number 22, Mike Bostowski. We're just about ready to go. Number 87, Derek Haley, will kick off for Sayreville. And as East Brunswick looks to improve their record to 6-0 in anticipation of a big game next week against Cedar Ridge. And here we go, and the game's underway. Short kick, fielded by number 35, Keith Chalecki. Chalecki breaks through, and a great run back, crosses the Sayreville 45-yard line. And East Brunswick starts off in great field position.
Let's keep an eye on Hughes and see what he's going to do in this first offensive series. I think that might indicate what type of game we're going to have here today.
Jimmy, you think you're going to try to blow him out early, open up the passing right away?
I think so, John. I believe that Borden would like to score as fast as he can, perhaps get his first stringers out of the game, and I'm sure they're being scouted today by John P. Stevens, and he doesn't want to show too much.
Okay, East Brunswick comes up on Sayreville's 44. Hughes fakes to Rowe, is looking deep. He's got Pilato open, wide open at the 10, and Pilato, there he is, quickly, 6-0. Steve Hughes to Tony Pilato. 44-yard touchdown pass, and East Brunswick's on the board, 6-0. Jimmy just called it right away to the air in 6 points.
There you go. That's Hughes' passing ability. He can reach any number of receivers deep on any situation. There's no wind today either, and I think that's going to be a factor.
Senior Tony Pilato was wide open. It was just a matter of whether he'd get to the ball, and beautiful pass by Steve Hughes. And quickly, East Brunswick goes up on top, 6-0. 11:29 left in the first quarter.
Well, we already have a timeout here.
I don't understand the reason for the timeout.
Well, John, observing East Brunswick this year, there's been a number of times where there's been some confusion on some of the plays going in, that sort of thing, and I think this is a situation here. Ted Pazinko, by the way, is the kicker for East Brunswick. He's been very accurate. Last week, he kicked a 33-yard field goal against Woodbridge. So that's a sophomore.
Jimmy, let me ask you, what do you think the effect is going to be on Sayreville? 15 seconds into the game, and they're down 6-0.
It's going to be hard to say, John. Tough enough that they're playing East Brunswick today. They're probably going to try to counter with a passing game of its own. That's my guess. I don't think they have the capability of establishing a ground game against East Brunswick, but I'm not sure that's going to work either.
All right, East Brunswick now going for the extra point, and they're going to go for 2, it looks like.
Yeah, it appears so.
Okay, Hughes is over center. East Brunswick going for 2. They already lead 6-0. Hughes rolls right, looking for Flanagan. And as Flanagan cuts in, he attempts the pass to Derek Rowe, just over Rowe's hands, and the score remains 6-0.
East Brunswick will now kick off from their 40 to the Sayreville Bombers. Ted Pazinko will be kicking off for East Brunswick.
Hey, if you're looking for the last time that the Bears lost a game, you have to go back to November 12th, and that's when they dropped a 37-14 decision to Union, which, as most people know, is either in front or close behind East Brunswick in statewide standings.
Well, Jim, it happened so quick this afternoon, we didn't get a chance to mention that. East Brunswick is ranked number 2 by the Star Ledger, behind that Union team. And deservedly so, I would think.
That was interesting because Charlie King, the athletic director for East Brunswick, mentioned that Union was originally on the schedule this year, but Union being a member of the Watchung Conference, there was a rule that required all Watchung Conference teams to play.
All right, Ted Bazinka will kick it off for East Brunswick as Sayreville awaits their first possession. And here we go. Short kick by Bazinko, but high. Fielded by the Sayreville player at his own 15. He breaks out to the right side. One man left, it's Derek Rowe, and Rowe makes the tackle. It looks like Chris Cook for Sayreville brings it back to the East Brunswick 45, so Jimmy, immediately Sayreville responds with a fine run back.
Yeah, they sure do. One of the keys is going to be good field position for Sayreville today. They start off in the 45. That's good for them.
Well, we'll see what Sayreville can do. First down on the East Brunswick 45. Repetti is the quarterback. A pitch to Lanowiski. Lanowiski is stopped. He stopped for a loss of about 3 yards on that. And yes, you're right, East Brunswick's defense. Last week they shut out Woodbridge. And I know the guys are looking for a shutout here.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Let's watch the Sayreville back, Mike Bouchard. I don't see him there. He might be on the line right now, but he's a player to be reckoned with.
Okay. Inside handoff to Armetta. Armetta picks up about 2, bringing up a third and about 11 for Sayreville. And the ball is just short of East Brunswick 45-yard line. 3rd and 11. We'll see if Sayreville puts the ball up in the air. This is their first possession. Repetti calling signals. Drops back, looking for his tight end. He's got him, and he breaks away from 2 tacklers. That's Haley, and Haley's tripped up at the 15-yard line.
Very nice play for Sayreville. Derek Haley, 6'4".
Ken Pruss was the last man, and if he didn't make the tackle, that was 6 for Sayreville.
You know, in addition to Glenn Pazinko's offensive ability, he's a fine safety, and it could be that East Brunswick might be missing him.
Good point. We did mention that Glenn Pazinko is not playing today, and they might miss him at that free safety position. Repetti brings him up. Sayreville moving the ball, surprisingly, on East Brunswick. They have a first down on about East Brunswick's 16-yard line. Their flag's down. We have a movement on the line. We'll see who is it against. We have an offside against East Brunswick. So a mistake by East Brunswick gives Sayreville some additional life here. It looked as though Sayreville would be stopped at 3rd and 11, but Repetti hit Haley, his tight end, and Haley brought it down to about the 16. Now we have a offside by East Brunswick, and it's first down and 5 now for Sayreville on the East Brunswick 9-yard line.
Again, John, I don't see Mike Bouchard in for Sayreville.
Repetti fakes the inside handoff, keeps the ball, and takes it down to about the 3-yard line, but we'll see where it's spotted. First down. Big first down for Sayreville. They're knocking on East Brunswick's door early here in the first quarter.
This is a key drive for Sayreville, John. If they can come back and score, as a matter of fact, if they can make a touchdown, score an extra point to give them the lead, this will really give them a boost.
Well, we'll see. They have a first down on about the 3-yard line of East Brunswick. Repetti fakes the inside handoff again and keeps the ball. He's down to about the 2.
That was Baskowski on the stop.
Okay. East Brunswick's got to tighten up the defense here. It's 2nd and about 2 for Sayreville. East Brunswick's leading 6-0, but Sayreville is seriously challenging. And we're only in the first quarter.
John, this has been Sayreville's problem all year, getting the ball inside the 10-yard line and unable to convert.
Well, here we go, 2nd down from about the 2. Repetti on a quarterback keeper. He's stopped. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it, I would think, Jim. Rushnack on that stop.
Well, the question here, John, is if they do not score a touchdown, do they go for a field goal or go for 6?
Timeout. We have Sayreville calling timeout, and they may want to discuss this possibility right now. Good point, Jim. I would think that Sayreville coming in 2-2 really has nothing to lose in this game, and I would suspect they're going to go for it if it comes down to a 4th down play.
We'll see. I think the key is the line play right now. If Sayreville is going to get into the end zone, I think they're going to have to either do it through the air or some trick play.
Well, it's 3rd down and 2. Do you pass in this situation, Jim, or do you try to punch it over with one of your backs?
Yeah, I do think that, as I said, John, you pass on this play. Remember, we talked about Haley being 6'4", number 87 for Sayreville, and perhaps if Reuploaded can loft the pass high, maybe Haley can catch it.
We do want to mention that one of the main attractions at all East Brunswick home games is the mascot bear, and as usual, he's busy trying to inspire the crowd here. Okay, we're back to the action. Reuploaded, Sayreville, 3rd down from the 2-yard line. Looking to tie this game up. Reuploaded sprints wide, keeps the ball, quarterback sneak, but I think he stopped short.
He is.
Great defensive job by East Brunswick, and now a big 4th down play. He's down to about the 1. And Ken Press was involved in that tackle. And number 32, Mark Diorenzio.
Okay, Theodositis is going for it. I don't see him.
Okay, Sayreville looks like they're going. 4th down from the 1. East Brunswick leads 6-0. Sayreville is knocking. This could be a big play if Sayreville wants to shut down East Brunswick's high-powered offense. Here we go, Reuploaded from the 1. 4th down. Takes the snap. Inside handoff. He scores! Yes!
Yes, he does.
I don't know who carried. We'll see who it is.
That may have been 42
I think
for
it's
Sayreville.
Lewanowski
Lanowski.
for Sayreville. Regardless, East Brunswick is now tied. Sayreville on 4th and 1 ties this ball game with 7:31 to go.
Okay, John, it could turn out to be a game.
We may all be surprised here this afternoon. Sayreville has elected to go for the extra point and try to take an early lead. Tomaszowski will kick. The ball's down, it's up. It looks like it was partially blocked at the line, and the kick is no good. And we have a tied ball game, 6-6, with 7:31 to go in the 1st quarter. Jimmy, I got to think it's a surprise, 6-6 in the 1st quarter.
Yeah, I think the key play obviously was that pass to Haley, and where he broke loose from the East Brunswick defender and got it down to 6-yard line, I believe it was. And from there, Sayreville had 4 punches at it, and they succeeded on the last one.
All right, East Brunswick will receive. Again, Derek Rowe is back deep with Mike Bostowski and Andy Werenberg.
Kicking off for East Brunswick, like number 25.
Chris Cook will kick off for Sayreville. A low kick, fielded by Bob Rushnack. Rushnack going straight up the middle, and a good return up to the East Brunswick 45, and East Brunswick again will have good field position, and that's something that Sayreville has got to stop, that good field position.
Rushnack's a fine ball player, John. He's
Excellent ball player.
the tight end and also the linebacker on defense.
All right, East Brunswick opens up with their 2nd possession of the game. Steve Hughes has Derek Rowe and Andy Werenberg in the backfield, and that's Werenberg over the left side for a gain of about 3 yards, bringing up a 2nd down for East Brunswick.
Number 33 made the tackle.
Here comes Chris Celeberti for East Brunswick. He has been known to get loose on a wide pattern.
Kind of your Raymond Berry type of receiver.
Sure is.
We have a 2nd down and 7 now for East Brunswick. Hughes calling signals. Is looking for Flanagan deep, and he's wide open. Barry Flanagan, he's got it, he's going all the way. And East Brunswick's on top once again. Hughes to Flanagan, and Sayreville just cannot seem to keep up with the East Brunswick receivers.
That's an indication, John, of the quality of receivers that East Brunswick has. By the way, we neglected to say that was his 7th season touchdown pass. This makes it 8. John, that pass was really just a good play action on the part of Hughes. He pumped once, and I think that was enough to trick the Sayreville defender. It's just a matter of Flanagan getting behind. He's got excellent hands.
Steve Hughes hits Barry Flanagan 53 yards. Ted Pazinko adds the extra point, and the Bears lead 13-6 with 6 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the first quarter. Jimmy, that pass was about 53 yards. Laid up beautifully. Flanagan faked the post inside and just continued to go downfield, and the Sayreville defender was just left in his tracks.
Yeah, he sure did. I think Theodositis is going to have to make some adjustment, either replacing those defenders or at least playing back on them so they don't get faked out.
For the Bombers will be Tony Tom Mazuski, and number 17.
By the way, John, Hughes has only been intercepted once this season, which I think is a fine statistic considering that they are a passing-oriented team.
Right. That's outstanding statistic. All right, Ted Pazinko will kick it off again. East Brunswick leading 13-6. Beautiful kick this time by Pazinko. Down to about the 3-yard line. It'll be Carlissimo. He breaks to the left side, and it's taken down by the East Brunswick defense at about the 23-yard line. So Sayreville will start on their own 24, it's been spotted. Second possession of the game, and they trail 13-6.
John, I keep on talking about Bouchard not being in there. He is the key to the Sayreville offense in my estimation. And I don't know if he has a number change today. It doesn't appear to, or whether maybe number 33 is him. I'm not sure what the situation is.
Okay, Sayreville from their own 23, 1st and 10. Repetti calling the signals. He sprints right, looking to pass the ball, and he's looking for Haley, his tight end. The ball was slightly underthrown and incomplete.
That's going to be the key, John, getting some passing time. Sayreville operates on a kind of a veer type of offense, which will find Reuploaded either going left or right, and it's going to be that offensive line's ability to hold out the East Brunswick defenders, giving Reuploaded time.
Well, it looked like Reuploaded had the time, and he had the man open. He just underthrew him.
He sure did.
And Sayreville, quite honestly, can't afford to make those mistakes. All right, we have a 2nd and 10 for Sayreville. On their 23, they trail 13-6. Reuploaded sprinting right again, looking to throw. He's got a man cutting deep, and incomplete. Good defensive play by Derek Rowe.
Sure
he was right on top of Bill Stankin, the Sayreville man.
Excellent play. As a matter of fact, John, if Derek Rowe is going to make it as a Division I college player, I would say that his best shot is going to be on the defense.
I would agree with you. While Derek has had some outstanding offensive games, I think he's got that quickness and toughness to play defense.
He sure does. Excellent speed, excellent speed.
Big 3rd down play for Sayreville now. They're trailing 13-6. They have the ball on their own 23 with 5 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the first quarter. Reuploaded again, rolls right. Looking for his tight, oh, and Rushnack knocks down the ball, and if he picked that off, that was another 6, Jim.
Sure was. It might have appeared to be a dangerous play on Rushnick's part, but he was backed up by 2 East Brunswick defenders, so it was a good move, and that's the type of situation you get when you have confidence in your secondary.
True, right. Beautiful play by Bob Rushnick, just off his fingertips, and that was 6. All right, Sayreville's going to have to punt, their first punt of the game. And Derek Rowe will drop back deep. Reuploaded, the quarterback, will do the punting for Sayreville. Rowe is standing at his own 45.
Rowe's averaging 18 yards on a return.
Ooh, almost blocked. Rowe picks up the ball at about the Sayreville 45. He breaks left, he's gone. Derek Rowe, one man, it's Reuploaded. He misses him. Derek Rowe is going all the way on the punt return. My God, it's just opening up.
There it is again. That was about a 56-yard punt return.
Derek Rowe, and this is, correct me, Jim, but I think this is the second one he's run back. He ran one back against Perth Amboy, I believe 2 weeks ago.
No, John, according to the statistics compiled by Bill Bunyan, he has had a 40-yard return, but it didn't go for a touchdown.
We're still in the first quarter, and East Brunswick's on top 19-6. Ted Pazinka will try to add the 20th point. The snap, it's a fake. Silberti rolls left with the ball, throwing into the corner of the end zone and just missing. I think it was Bob Rushneck, yes. So East Brunswick fails again on the 2-point conversion, but leads 19-6 with 5 minutes and 34 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
John, I'd like to know the time of possession for East Brunswick. I think they scored on the first time they touched the ball. Next series they got the ball, they scored. This is a punt return. This could turn out to be an easy afternoon for the Bears.
If my records are correct, Jim, I think they've only run 4 offensive plays.
I haven't been keeping track, John, but you're probably right.
And now already they're on top 19-6. This has to be somewhat demoralizing for Sayreville. They haven't played that bad, quite honestly.
No, they haven't, John. It's a situation where East Brunswick just possesses so many offensive tools. It's Hughes passing, it's Rose running.
And special teams, I think we sometimes overlook that part of the game. But here we have Derek Rowe runs back a punt. Special team blocking, excellent.
Exactly.
All right, Ted Pazinka will kick off again for East Brunswick. Back deep for Sayreville is Tony Carlissimo. Pazinka gets a nice kick downfield. Sayreville lets it hit. It's picked up by Zeisler. Zisler is stopped at about the 20-yard line. So Sayreville starts again in poor field position, which has got to hurt them. It's got to hurt morale, if nothing else.
Well, we're going to see. Thea DeSatis, the Sayreville coach, if anything else, can keep a team fired up. And this is going to be one situation where he's going to have to do it.
Sayreville will have the ball at their own 19, 1st and 10. If you just joined us, East Brunswick is out in front 19-6 with about 5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
John, that clock's official, by the way.
Repetti hands off. Armetta for Sayreville. And Armetta picks up about 3 yards. I don't know if Sayreville has made any changes, but it looks like they're going to try to establish a running game and maybe take a little pressure off the quarterback, Repetti.
John, East Brunswick played with 10 men on that last play.
That's all they need, it seems, Jim. All right, 2nd down for Sayreville and about 5.
I'm looking at Glenn Pazinka, number 24, on the sidelines for East Brunswick. He's not wearing pads. Again, I think it was a matter of just Gordon, the coach, wanting to keep him out. And as the score indicates, you can see why. Yeah, there's really no need for him to play or risk further injury. Repetti sprints left, looking to throw the ball. He's being rushed. He's not going to get the ball off. Fine defensive play by Paul Lynch. John, with the score being 19-6, this allows East Brunswick's defense to do a lot of things that they normally couldn't. They can play loose on the secondary. The defense can take a lot more chances, and I think it's going to be a tough afternoon for Sayreville. Well, Paul Lynch from his right defensive end position just blew in, quite honestly, and caught Repetti for a loss. Sayreville now facing a 3rd and 14 on their own 16. Trying to get some offensive momentum. And Repetti's going to throw the ball. Oh, he's sacked! Andy Warenberg coming through untouched. Drops Repetti down to about the 4-yard line. I guess one of the worst things that can happen to a quarterback is to get hit by the blind side. Yeah, Repetti didn't see Warenberg coming at all, and the ball has been spotted at the 6. They have a 4th down and obvious punting situation. And once again, Derek Rowe goes back, so they have to be concerned with Rowe again. Good night. That's Steeker kicking for Sayreville.
Deeker punting from his own end zone. Rowe standing at the Sayreville 36-yard line. Sayreville needs a good punt here. Deeker gets it off. Rowe fields it at about the 35. Fakes left, right, breaks through again. Derek Rowe's on his feet. And just pulled down from behind at the 15-yard line of Sayreville.
Just an outstanding runner, John. He not only has good speed, cutting ability, but he can break a tackle, and I think this is the type of attributes you want for a punt returner.
So once again, Sayreville has their backs against the wall. East Brunswick has 1st and 10 on the Sayreville 16-yard line. We'll see now if East Brunswick will be content to try to punch it in or go right to the air. Hughes has Wernberg and Rowe in the backfield. Pitch right to Rowe. Rowe breaks one tackle and moves the ball up to the 10-yard line.
Good block by Greg Zambrovitz, John, on that play. Freed up Rowe for a good
Second down for East Brunswick and about 5. We have 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first quarter. East Brunswick leading 19-6, and they're threatening again. Hughes brings the team out. It's a quarterback sneak up the middle. Hughes has been known to do this quite often in a game, and he's down to the 5-yard line.
John, you said that Hughes has been known to run the quarterback sneak, and I would think that Sayreville is expecting the quarterback sneak in the situation, but it's a matter of not being able to do anything about it. It looks like
timeout.
It looks like Steinberg is playing center, and he, of course, is a returning All-County center for East Brunswick.
That's one thing to mention, and now that you did mention it, Jim, let me just identify for our viewers that offensive line. We have Mike Steinberg at center, number 50. The guards are 52, Seth Kirtland, and 58, Seth Goldberg. The tackles are 56, Greg Zambrovitz, and 75, Tony Ferrandino. And they do an outstanding job.
Oh, they sure do.
Let's face it, any offense, particularly a passing offense, is really guided by that offensive line play.
They really are. And Hughes is blessed with excellent offensive linemen.
East Brunswick has a 3rd and 1 at the Sayreville 5. Hughes takes the snap. Rowe breaks out to the left. He's got the first down. It's going to be 1st and goal for East Brunswick at about the 3-yard line.
Marvelous cut there on Rowe's part.
And that's something you just don't teach, Jimmy. Derek Rowe, it's a natural instinct, and we've seen it for 4 years here at East Brunswick High School.
Yeah, John, Derek Rowe has come a long way. I think one of his main problems as a sophomore and junior was that he used to get too shifty and used to cause more problems, but now he seems to get the ball, turn up, and that's what's causing him to have some good success this year.
Here's Andy Wernberg trying to punch it over from the 3 and gets back to about the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up a 2nd and 3 to go for a touchdown for East Brunswick.
Yeah, John, I think East Brunswick is just content to just round it out here. Got a minute left in the first period.
It's 19-6. East Brunswick on about the 3-yard line with about 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. Hughes spins left, hands off to Rowe. Rowe maybe picks up a yard.
Nice effort on the Sayreville defensive line.
We should mention that Sayreville has not lost their fight. And if anything, it's more pride at this point.
Oh, sure. I think Theodosatis was realistic coming into this game, knowing that he was overmatched physically, and just wants to have a good showing. This Sayreville team is 2-2 this year. That's the best they've done in a long time.
Here we go, 3rd and goal for East Brunswick. Hughes takes the snap, pitches wide to Derek Rowe, running right. Rowe's going to be stopped and gets back to the line of scrimmage. Fine effort by the Sayreville defense on that play.
Sure was. I think they were looking for Rowe on that one. You could tell the entire Sayreville defense was over here.
And we have
That's the quarter.
And that's the quarter. I was going to say timeout, but that's the quarter. First quarter is over. East Brunswick leading 19-6.
John, we got a really interesting statistic on East Brunswick in the second quarter. In 5 games this year, they have scored 78 points, and they've limited their opponents to just 6.
Doesn't speak well for Sayreville's chances then.
Well, I don't know what it does for Sayreville. I just know that East Brunswick really can turn it on. Once it seems to me as though that it takes a quarter for the Bears to become familiar with the team, and after that they just start cranking it out.
Jimmy, let me ask you a question. East Brunswick has a big game next week against Stevens. Here they're having their way against a fine Sayreville team, but a Sayreville team that is outmatched. You think that could have any effect for next week? The kids become complacent, it's too easy, and then a big game coming up.
No, I don't think so, John. Marcus Ward, the head coach for East Brunswick, won't allow that. He's the type of coach who will take every game at the same time, and although high school athletes have a tendency to do that, I don't think that's going to be the case.
East Brunswick's going to go for it on 4th down from about the 2-yard line. We just started the second period. Fine pass, Hughes finds Rushnack over the middle, and East Brunswick comes up with 6 more.
That's 9 touchdown passes.
And let me tell you, Jimmy, Steve Hughes had 2 or 3 Sayreville men wrapped around him. He stood in the pocket, saw Rushnack across the middle, and 6 points.
Exactly, John. That's the type of thing that college scouts like, the ability to maintain your poise under pressure. What do we say about the second quarter for East Brunswick?
Well, they didn't waste time. Here's Pazinko with the extra point, and it's good. And the score now is East Brunswick 25, Sayreville 6. And we've just started the second quarter.
That's correct. Now we talked about JP Stevens. I should mention that they beat Cedar Ridge last night 21-13. However, they are losing George Booth, who was an excellent running back for them, one of the keys to their offense. We don't know whether he's going to be available next week for the East Brunswick game. I think that would have a big bearing on the game.
Well, I have to admit some surprise at that score. Cedar Ridge gave Stevens a better game than most of us expected.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the Cedar Ridge assistants before the game, and he mentioned to me that late in the fourth quarter, Cedar Ridge was driving. It was just a matter of a bad pass being picked off, and that sort of ended Cedar Ridge's chances. But they had not scored previously on any team in its first 4 games. So I'm not sure that's an indication of whether J.P. Stevens was looking ahead to East Brunswick or the Cedar Ridge is playing better.
All right, Ted Pazinko will kick off to Sayreville. We've just started the second quarter, and East Brunswick's leading 26-6. Carlissimo's got the ball right up the middle, and a fine return. He fumbles the ball. The ball's loose, but I think the Sayreville man has fallen on it.
John, I didn't like the way the ball carrier held that ball. One of the things you like to teach in high school football is when you get that ball, tuck it under your arm, and he was carrying it like a loaf of bread.
True. And that's what happens when you do that. The ball has a tendency to pop out of there. Sayreville, without belaboring the point, is in trouble. It's 26-6. We've just started the second period. Fine field position for them, the best they've had in a long time, as they start on their own 40. Reuploaded is still the quarterback. Inside handoff. Oh, he's breaking loose. Number 42, Lewandowski, breaks up the middle, and a flag has been dropped. Let's see what this flag is. Quite honestly, they seem to catch East Brunswick off guard with that play.
It was a little misdirection. We got a clip against Sayreville. That's unfortunate.
Sayreville gets a break and then makes a mistake. So
I think what happened, John, is once the Leneski got open, the Sayreville blocker hit below the waist, and you cannot do that in high school football. That's to protect from knee injuries.
And that's what it is. It is a clip on Sayreville. Bring the ball back to the Sayreville 43-yard line, where it will be first and about 7.
John, is it too early to be talking about the Stevens game next week?
We may need that for the second half, Jim.
Okay.
So let's follow Reuploaded as he hands off, fakes the handoff. It's a keeper. Almost a semi-wishbone play.
Yeah, I think Reuploaded wants to sacrifice his body.
Well, I really think they're trying to get something going on offense. And obviously the team does look towards its quarterback to get things going. Reuploaded picked up about 3 yards. So it'll be second and about 5 for Sayreville.
John, I'm looking down on the East Brunswick sidelines, and I see Barry Flanagan, the top receiver, getting his hand taped. I'm not sure what happened.
Okay, maybe we'll check on that. Our cameras are focusing on the action on the field. We'll see if we can get a report on that. Reuploaded drops back. He's got Lewineski again, but incomplete. Fine pass. Reuploaded seemed to have his man open, but Lewineski just could not get to it. And we have another flag down, and it's against Sayreville, unfortunately.
What a rain supporters, huh?
I'm afraid so, Jim, and you really have to feel for this Sayreville team. You know the kids are trying hard. They need to get something going, and mistakes are hurting them.
It's a nice crowd here today, John.
Good crowd, and we should mention that the view you're seeing on television is from atop the East Brunswick press box. And so unfortunately we cannot peer down and show the East Brunswick crowd, but believe me, it is a good crowd. And a good crowd has been coming out each week to support the team.
Yeah, they have.
2nd and 25 for Sayreville. They really need to get something going. So they have some momentum built up for that second half. Reuploaded on about the 26 of Sayreville. Sprints left. He's going to try to put the ball up. He's being rushed, and he's sacked for a loss.
That was Paul Lynch, John, on that play. Last week against Woodbridge, Lynch simply blasted through the line, caused the quarterback to fumble, picked up the fumble. They had insult to injury. I think he's just a dominant player for East Brunswick, really coming along fine. I believe he's just he is a senior, but 225 pounds, pure strength.
Division I player, Jim?
That's hard to say. There's a lot of players that size. East Brunswick is just loaded with a lot of people that size.
Okay, Sayreville now with 3rd and 32. I don't know what you call in this situation. Reuploaded looking over the defense. He's going to try to make something happen. He's dropping back. He pumps, puts the ball up long. That ball's going to be picked off. Tony Pilato. Beautiful coverage. Tony Pilato comes up with an interception from East Brunswick. And that was just a case of Reuploaded overthrowing his receiver. He had Haley open, and overthrew him. Pilato playing great defensive coverage. Picked the ball off.
Yeah, he sure did. Pilato has been a really pleasant surprise for East Brunswick this year. I'm not sure Borden was counting that much on him, but he has really come along to be a major asset. He scored a big touchdown in that first game of the year over Brick.
All right, East Brunswick with the ball at the Sayreville 47. Hughes once again bringing out the offense. Pitches to Warenberg, who crosses the 45 down to about the 43 of Sayreville. 2nd down.
Not listed in our program.
Let's call it 2nd and 7 for East Brunswick. There's 8 minutes and 40 seconds left here in the second quarter. East Brunswick leading 26-6.
You think Hughes wants to add on to his touchdown pass scoring?
Hughes drops deep. He's throwing long for Calfian.
That's
just
a
over
for East Brunswick.
Yeah, Rick does a fine job. He comes in certain situations. I just want to mention, Jimmy, that there's an indication of Hughes' passing arm that has really impressed the college coaches.
That's precisely it, John. He's able to loft it anywhere on the field.
3rd and 7 for East Brunswick. They lead 26-6. Hughes drops back again, being pressured. It's a screen out to Derek Rowe on the left side. Rowe trying to sidestep a few tacklers. He's taken down at about the 44-yard line. He got back to the line of scrimmage. It just didn't develop, Jim, the screen.
I think this is going to be the first time that East Brunswick has punted this afternoon.
You're right.
Pazinko is normally the punter for East Brunswick, and what a fine one he is. If he doesn't make it in college as an offensive or defensive player, he certainly could make it for punting.
Well, we'll see who does the punting if in fact East Brunswick elects to punt.
That's Flanagan.
Barry Flanagan will punt for East Brunswick. 4th down. This is the first time East Brunswick will punt, leading 26-6. Nice snap from center. Flanagan gets a beautiful punt off high. The Sayreville team has elected to let it go, and it's down at the 10-yard line.
Fine punt, good coverage on East Brunswick's part. Sayreville's in a hole again.
Jimmy, I got a question that I think that Sayreville man has to feel that punt. He can't allow it to bounce around and let East Brunswick pounce on it. They need something to happen, and to let that ball sit there is just another indication that it's a mistake rather than an indication of any lack of knowledge on the part of the player.
Yeah, I agree with you, John. They have to make some things happen. You got to take chances when you do that.
All right, Sayreville starts on their own 10-yard line. They're in the white. They're moving left to right on your screen, and they trail 26-6 here in the second quarter. Inside handoff to Armetta.
John, I'm looking to see if East Brunswick is replacing its defensive players, and I do see some new people coming in right now. Here comes Zambrovitz out of the game.
A pickup of about 1 yard for Sayreville, bringing up a second and about 9. 6:50 to go in the second period.
Again, one of the luxuries of being ahead as you can is you can start to rest players, and I think East Brunswick's doing that.
And it's important to keep those players fine-tuned as well, your second team.
Oh, yeah.
Repetti fakes the inside handoff, drops the pass. He's hit by Wernberg. The ball pops loose, and East Brunswick's got it. And they score! Pruss, I believe it was Pruss. Vaskowski, I'm sorry, number 22. Repetti dropped back to pass, was hit from the blind side.
Paul Lynch.
Was that Lynch?
I believe it was 73, Paul Lynch. I may be wrong.
I thought it was Wernberg.
Okay, you're right.
The ball popped loose, but Mike Vaskowski picked it up for the score. It's now 32-6 for East Brunswick. Kick by Tedpazinko is good, and East Brunswick leads 33-6 with 6 minutes and 33 seconds to go here in the second quarter.
Shall they call off the troops, John?
I do have to feel for the Sayreville team. And we've mentioned it before. I'm sure we're not going to see any quit in the team, but it has to be disheartening.
Yeah, it sure does.
But Jim, high school football is a funny game, and a few years down the road, tables can turn.
Yeah, John, maybe we ought to talk about that a second. Borden has expressed a little bit of concern about the number of people coming out for the football team. As you know, the freshman team had to combine from Churchill and Hammarskjöld this year, whereas Sayreville had something like 100 people come out for the team. Now, that doesn't show up this year, but a couple of years down the road, you might see a difference.
True. And we hope so, because like any fan, we like to see balance in a conference. Pazinko kicks off. Lanushki's got the ball. He breaks open. Derek Rowe's the only man to stop him. Nice run back. Sayreville is showing some strength on the kickoff returns anyway, Jim.
John, I think Borden is going to do a little bit of work this week in practice on his special teams kickoffs. That's about 2 or 3 times that Lanowski has been able to break clear, and they're going to really have to concentrate on correcting that fault when it comes to Stevens next week.
All right, Sayreville has the ball on their own 45. They trail 33-6. Second period. And they've got to open things up. They've got to take some chances here. Repetti is still the quarterback, and we have movement on the line. Let's see what the call is.
That appears to be the Sayreville center, just jumping the gun. This is the type of thing that happens when you get really upset at what's going on the field.
Frustration, yeah, I agree with you, Jim. And the ball's going to be marched off 5 yards, illegal procedure against Sayreville. The ball will be marked at the Sayreville 39-yard line, bringing up a first and 15.
Looks like Borden's already replaced the secondary.
We'll try to get to those players as the game progresses. It happens quickly. Inside handoff. The ball is loose again. Another fumble. We'll see if they call it a dead ball.
Oh,
no, they call it East Brunswick recovery.
What else can happen wrong, John, for Sayreville?
Jim, the ceiling is caving in on Sayreville. East Brunswick comes up with a recovery.
Okay.
That's number 32, Mark DiOrenzio.
Okay, uses out at quarterback. We've got Chris Ciliberti in now.
All right, Ciliberti replacing Hughes. As East Brunswick leads 33-6. East Brunswick, it'll be a first down on the Sayreville 39-yard line. Ciliberti sprints right, looking to throw the ball. Puts it up. He's got Derek Rowe out on the right side. Rowe sidesteps one tackler. and it's taken down at about the Sayreville 25-yard line.
No, it's a good situation for East Brunswick now that Celebrity's starting to get some playing time, score being what it is. He is a fine quarterback. If Hughes wasn't as good as he was, obviously, I think Chris Celebrity could probably do well for any other team in the Middlesex County Athletic Conference.
I agree with you, Jim, and we're going to get a chance to see him. Here comes Derek Rowe. He's out of the game, receiving a fine hand from these fans. Celebrity calling signals now for the East Brunswick offense. Whistles blow, and that play is going to be called dead. I think we have an offensive lineman moving before the snap for East Brunswick. That's a procedure call.
Perhaps if we get an opportunity, John, we'll run over who these players are. Here comes Werenberg out.
And he's had a whole game here in 2 quarters.
I think the statistics are going to be a little misleading for East Brunswick, except for Hughes' 3 touchdown passes today, which is better than his average.
Jim, the call was illegal procedure against East Brunswick. Moves the ball back to the Sayreville 30, and it'll be 1st and 15 now for East Brunswick. Inside handoff. Number 17.
It's Dawson.
Dawson is in!
My Lord.
My God, Dawson takes an inside handoff, breaks out to the left, and he goes 30 yards for an East Brunswick score.
I don't know what more you can say, John, about East Brunswick ability. Borden has already taken out his first team. Dawson really hadn't seen a lot of action on the varsity this year. Takes the ball and just runs it 30 yards for a touchdown. What can you say?
That makes the score 39-6. Pazinko will go for the extra point. 4:34 left here in the second period. The kick is up, and it's good. That will make it East Brunswick 40, Sayreville 6. 4 minutes and 34 seconds to go before half. Jim, it does show that East Brunswick is rich in talent. The second team picks up right where the first team left off.
Yeah, they are. They're very deep this year, and again, when it comes to the state playoffs, which we know that East Brunswick will qualify, even with a loss next week to J.P. Stevens, which we're not going to assume, I think the Bears still stand an excellent chance. And this depth is really going to be an asset when it comes to state playoff time.
I agree, because in this game, you never know. An injury to one of your starters for some teams can be drastic.
Well, I think for Sayreville's case, without Mike Bouchard out there, I think it's really had a devastating effect on Sayreville. They have had no rhythm on their offense. Bouchard is an excellent linebacker. He hasn't been able. His absence has really hurt there also.
Jim, this is starting to look like a replay, but Ted Pazinko will kick off once again. And back deep for Sayreville is Tony Carlissimo. Ted Pazinko gets a good foot into it. Carlissimo will field the ball at about the 16-yard line and is hit hard by East Brunswick, up to about the 26, where Sayreville will take over.
John, let me get back to talking about that game with Union that was postponed this year. Again, Union being a member of the Watchung Conference, there was a rule passed in which they had to play all 10 members of their conference. Thus, they had to cancel the game. East Brunswick picked up brick.
All right, Sayreville comes out 1st and 10 on their 27-yard line. They trail 40-6. Reuploaded at quarterback. Sprints down the line, inside handoff. And it's Lewinsky again. He picks up about 5 for Sayreville.
He's getting a lot of work this afternoon, isn't he?
And there isn't much to talk about on the Sayreville team, but they've had some good success this afternoon with that inside handoff.
Oh, they sure have. Again, they have some good linemen. Butch Hoover is one that comes to mind. He's a quality player. Number 55, the center for Sayreville.
Okay, 2nd and about 5 for Sayreville. Reuploaded fakes the inside handoff, looking to throw the ball to his tight end, Zeisler, and Zeisler just wasn't looking for the play.
No, he wasn't. I think they missed signals on that.
Again, another mistake that Sayreville has made to bring up a 3rd and 5 at the Sayreville 32.
John, East Brunswick had some early season problems defending against the pass, but I think they've straightened them out.
Petty calling the signals, dropping back. He's being pressured, gets the ball off to the sidelines, and a fine catch by Lewandowski.
That was a 4th down, wasn't it?
That was 3rd down.
It was 3rd down, okay.
Out of bounds, but he's short of the 1st down by about 5 yards. So it's 4th and 5 for Sayreville, and in all likelihood they will punt the ball. They're trailing 40-6.
John, we going to get an opportunity to hear the East Brunswick Band at halftime?
Yes, we'll be pleased to bring the band to our audience, and a fine band it is.
Oh, they sure are. They're very, very well directed. They put on a fine show.
All right, Sayreville will be punting. Kenny Press is back deep. Good snap. Woo, and Sayreville punter just gets the ball off. And it'll roll out at the East Brunswick 35.
Perhaps that's the way to defend against the punt for East Brunswick. Just kick it out of bounds.
You know, Jim, you mentioned a point, and that's a good point. I'm surprised that Sayreville did punt directly to Rowe. And that with his reputation for running back punts, they didn't try to kick it away from him or aim for a sideline.
Well, John, I think that was Sayreville's philosophy to go directly at East Brunswick's strength. I think if they were successful in stopping Rowe, it would have been a message to East Brunswick like, you know, you're going to have to stop us. Unfortunately, it didn't work too well for them. 1st down and 10 for East Brunswick at about their 34-yard line. Ciliberti at quarterback, hands off to Vinny Vitale, and Vinny's met at the line of scrimmage. In fact, he's dropped for about a 3-yard loss. Wholesale changes for East Brunswick as they lead 40-6 with 3 minutes to go here in the 2nd period. Here they come.
We'll try to keep you informed as to the changes. The players are moving in and out rather quickly, so it's tough for us. We hope you're enjoying the game. I'm John Meggiolaro with Jimmy Allinder from the Sentinel, bringing you this key Middlesex County game. Ciliberti fakes right, sprints, trying to get rid of the ball. Nice pass.
I think Teddy Pazinko was caught for a clip there. They're going to bring it back.
Ciliberti, if you just joined us, is replacing Steve Hughes, who had a career in a matter of a quarter and a half.
Sure
and
did.
Marcus Borden, the head coach, has decided to give Chris Ciliberti some time at the quarterback position. We have a penalty. It will be against East Brunswick.
John, I'm wondering if the 3rd string East Brunswick quarterback's going to get some playing time today. Mark Rodelbroom.
We have a blocking below the waist penalty against East Brunswick. Sayreville has refused the penalty, bringing up a 3rd and about 14 to go. Chris Ciliberti at quarterback, sprints right. He's still looking to throw the ball and completes the pass to Kalfian. Rick Kalfian, nice reception.
John, East Brunswick still wants to throw the ball.
It'll bring up a 4th down and about 4. Kalfian was short of the 1st down.
Flanagan's going to be punting again.
It looks like East Brunswick will punt. You're right, Jim. And I think, quite honestly, Marcus Borden is trying to take it easy on the Sayreville team. He wants to see his 2nd string players play, but there's no need to put it on him, so to speak. All right, Barry Flanagan will punt. Nice punt. Spiral, taking Sayreville back down to about the 18-yard line. Carlismo brings the ball back up for Sayreville at about the 35-yard line. And that's where Sayreville will take over with 1 minute and 38 seconds to go before halftime.
I don't see one
40
first
to 6.
stringer in, John, for East Brunswick. Oh, I'll take it back. There's Rushnick, linebacker.
Jim, if you want to pick up some of these players for us, I know our audience would appreciate it. And so will many of the parents who are tuning in this afternoon.
Okay, John, we'll see if we can pick them up as we go along here.
Sayreville, 1st and 10 on their own 35. Rapetti keeps the ball, pitches wide outside to Armati. And Armati picks up about 7 yards.
Well, from what I can see of the secondary, you got Brian Elkin number 36 in there. That's Ken Pruss, number 20. Is that number 44 back there for East Brunswick? That's
Yes.
Tom Herbst.
All right, Sayreville comes up with a 2nd and about 1 at their own 44-yard line. They trail 40-6 with about 1:07 to go here before half. Reuploaded pitches right. It looks like a halfback option. Oh, fine defensive play by number 36 for East Brunswick, Brian Elkin. So Sayreville with a little razzle-dazzle, trying to have Tony Carlissimo on a halfback option.
Hey, John, let's try anything at this point.
I agree. I think that's what they have to do.
You obviously, East Brunswick is defending for the pass in this situation, so you have to think that if Sayreville is going to throw the ball, they're going to have to do some things differently and just straight drop back.
3rd down for Sayreville and 1 at about the 44-yard line. We're under a minute to go before half. Reuploaded calling the signals, sprints and pitches back to Armada, and he's taken down.
Really good play by Ken Pruss.
Ken Pruss stopping Armada for about a 3-yard loss.
Pruss is a sophomore, John.
I've got to think one of the key players in the East Brunswick future.
Sure is.
We have a timeout on the field, Sayreville. What do you say to your team when they're down 40-6?
Well, 41 seconds to go. Sayreville needs 3 yards on the 4th down for 1st down. Probably is going to try to get the 1st down, maybe call another timeout if they have any left, and see if they can launch a bomb to the end zone.
I agree. I think that they have nothing to lose, obviously, by putting that ball up. It's just a matter of whether Reuploaded, the quarterback, can get some time and whether he can get a receiver open. It appears that East Brunswick's second-team secondary is playing heads up. So that Sayreville is not catching a break going against the second team.
John, I don't have any. How many points did East Brunswick score this half?
Well, this half would be 40.
I'm sorry, for the second quarter is what I mean.
I don't have that down. I believe it's around, Jim, 14 points, maybe more. It's been happening so quick, it's been tough to actually keep track.
Yeah, sure has.
All right, set the stage for you. 41 seconds before half. Sayreville has the ball. It's 4th and 1 on their own 43. And they trail 40-6. And that's Armada. Armada appears to have the 1st down, but really they don't need 1st downs. They need some points.
Okay, we got another timeout for Sayreville here. Now, John, I'm thinking about what Theodosatis, Sayreville coach, can say to his team at halftime. I think this is where really experience comes into play. He's been coaching for 26 years. He's had winners, Bishop Bar, Plainfield, and this team has to be demoralized. But you know, they're 2-2 at this point. They're going to be 2-3 at the end of this game, assuming that Sayreville does not come back. Okay,
but that's a safe assumption.
Sure, but you got 4 more games to go.
That's right.
And they could salvage an excellent season. So it's going to be very important to keep this team's head up. Let them know that they ran up against a juggernaut here in East Brunswick today, and that they could conceivably do better for the remainder of the season. East Brunswick, I see their board is just going to tell his team at halftime, look, relax, boys. You know, you're playing well. Don't get too confident, however, because we've got Stevens next week.
That's right. Yeah.
And that, for all practical purposes, is going to decide the championship for the conference.
I think, too, East Brunswick wants to come out injury-free. That's an important component, particularly when you look at J.P. Stevens next week.
Exactly.
Reuploaded rolls left, looking to throw long. The ball's hanging up there. That's going to be picked off, I think. No, knocked down. Tom Herbst for East Brunswick on that defensive play. We have 28 seconds. I would think, Jimmy, that Sayreville might try that once again.
Oh, I think so, John. They're just going to wing it.
They have to, quite honestly.
Oh, here comes the Sayreville band.
If you just joined us, you've missed a lot of fireworks. East Brunswick leads 40-6 here as we come up near halftime. 28 seconds to go. Sayreville has the ball at their own 46-yard line. Reuploaded, the Sayreville quarterback, drops. He's looking deep. They need points. He airs one out, but Tom Herbst is there again playing deep, and it's more of a prevent defense than anything else at this point. And Sayreville will face a 3rd down and 10.
I suspect East Brunswick would do well just to line about 5 players up on the 20-yard line in a prevent.
Jim, you made a point before, which I agree with, and the fact that one game does not make a season in terms of Sayreville's season. They've played well this year, maybe better than a lot of people expected, and can do well and salvage a good season that could lead them for the next couple of years in terms of motivation and their program.
Exactly, John.
Reuploaded throws over the middle to number 88, Decker, and they'll go with a hurry-up offense. We're about 10 seconds left before half. The ball is at the East Brunswick 45. 4th and about 1, and that's it. That's halftime. It's halftime here at J. Doyle Field. East Brunswick leads 40-6 over Sayreville.
Over the right side, we'll see the East Brunswick marching band. I'd like to turn the microphone over to Mr. Lewis. Dr. Lewis. High school marching band. first competition in which the East Brunswick High School Marching Band will compete in Westfield. 1 week from tomorrow, October 28th, right here in Ball Field, will be a band competition. 14 bands will compete. On November 3rd, homecoming. We're asking all band alumni who wish to participate in an alumni band to start the second half of the football.
Well, welcome to the second half of the East Brunswick High School Sayreville football game. We hope you enjoyed the fine performance by the East Brunswick High School band. I'm John Meggiolaro, and I'm being joined by Jimmy Allinder, Sentinel sports writer. If you're just joining us, East Brunswick leads at the half, 40-6. Jimmy, I know you have some first half statistics for us.
Yeah, I do, John. These were compiled by Bill Munyon, who is the Sports Information Director for East Brunswick. Fine job. Probably about the most revealing statistic, I think, is that East Brunswick only has 2 first downs in the half, yet they have 40 points on the board. What that indicates to me is that they didn't need the first down. They struck on the first offensive series, and that is really a significant statistic. Hughes is 6 for 9 with 3 touchdowns. East Brunswick's rushing yardage just 48, passing yardage 123. We'll get to the rest of the minute.
Ted Pazinko kicking off to start the second half to Sayreville. Number 17 for Sayreville. Danella picks the ball up, breaks right, and comes up to about the 35-yard line.
John, if you want to look at the rushing stats for East Brunswick, Dawson, believe it or not, who's not even a first-teamer, had the most. A 30-yard touchdown run's been the biggest for East Brunswick.
It's all been in the air, I would think.
Yeah, Waringberg, 9 yards, Rowe, 9 yards. Hughes has 4 on that sneak. We'll get to the rest in a moment.
Okay, Sayreville will start off at their own 34-yard line. They trail 40-6 as we start the second half here in East Brunswick. Repetti is still the quarterback, and he's calling signals. Handoff to Lewineski. Now Lewineski actually loses about 3 yards.
That was Steinberg on the tackle. Nice hit. In the passing department, John, Hughes was 4 for 6, Celebrity 2 for 3, so that's 6 for 9 total. Hughes had 99 yards through the air, Celebrity 24 yards through the air for 123 overall. And as I said, 3 touchdown passes on Steve Hughes to bring him up to 9 for the season.
And I think that with every pass, Steve is setting new records here at East Brunswick.
From what I understand, that's the case.
Second down for Sayreville. Repetti drops back. He's being pressured, and he's taken down. Dawson.
That ball's dead.
Steve Dawson breaks through to drop Repetti for a large loss, bringing the ball back to the Sayreville 23-yard line. Officials have marked it on the 18. It's third and a long way. Let's call it that, Jim.
I guess Repetti will be going through the air again.
I think he has no choice.
I haven't had a chance to look at his passing statistics, but I think he threw a lot first half.
Sayreville now third and about 30-some yards. Repetti drops back, looks for his tight end, and ball's incomplete. Fine play defensively by Mike Steinberg again.
Petty was 2 for 11 in the first half, and he had 1 intercepted which was returned 41 yards for East Brunswick. Nice punting job by Flanagan, who's filling in for Pazinko. 38 yards on 2 kicks.
He has done a nice job. Sayreville is in punt formation with Diker doing the punting. Dropping back deep for East Brunswick is Pruss. We've just started the second half, and Sayreville is punting. They trail 40-6. Almost blocked, but Diker gets it off. Fair catch by Pruss at the Sayreville 43-yard line.
Why not? They don't have anything to prove at this point.
If you're just joining us, let me quickly run down the scoring for East Brunswick. Hughes started things off very quickly by hitting Tony Pilato with a 44-yard TD pass. Sayreville responded with a 1-yard run by Armada to tie the score at 6-6, and then Hughes and East Brunswick poured it on. Hughes to Flanagan for 53 yards. Derek Rowe ran back a punt for 56 yards. Hughes then hit Bob Rushneck for 2-yard score. Mike Bastowski scored on a fumble recovery of 2 yards. And then Dawson ran the ball on a sweep 30 yards. And that's been the scoring for East Brunswick.
That was Dawson who just carried the ball. I see East Brunswick has replaced its offensive line. So it may be that Sayreville may get a little better penetration this half. We'll have to wait and see on that.
All right, Chris Siliberti is at quarterback for East Brunswick. We'll try to give you the rest of the lineup. Siliberti's pass, incomplete.
Nice rush on Sayreville's part.
Pass was intended for Vinny Vitale. Incomplete, that'll bring up a second down.
John, I think it's time to start talking state playoffs right now. You figure this game's in the bag for East Brunswick. That's going to bring their record to 6-0, and that qualifies them for the playoffs. You need 12 quality points to get in, and you get 2 per win. So this will qualify them for the tournament.
All right, East Brunswick with a third down. Siliberti fakes the handoff, drops back, trying to throw to the side. He's got his man. Oh, and the ball bounces out. Incomplete. Nice try to number 8, Rick Califian.
That's a nice wideout right there. I think Siliberti did a good job getting the ball. It's just a matter of not holding on to it.
So East Brunswick is forced into a punting situation. They lead 40-6, and we've just opened up the second half.
John, in a minute, let's talk more about this state playoff situation.
All right. Doing the punting now for East Brunswick. I can't get a number on that. Keith Chalecki is punting. Good punt. The ball will hit around the 17, roll, and down by East Brunswick at about the 1-yard line.
Marvelous kick. Good coverage on East Brunswick part.
Rick Calfayan downs the ball for East Brunswick on the 1-yard line, and again, another mistake by Sayreville. They needed to field that punt.
You know, these are the types of things that makes a coach really happy on East Brunswick's part I'm talking about. You know, good hustle. The game is, obviously over for Sayreville's part. And East Brunswick just continues to play with intensity. And again, I'll say this is the type of situation you like when you get to the state playoffs. People who know what it is to be in a game situation. I think we got timeout, John.
We do, Jim. Timeout, Sayreville, as they're looking at their second possession of the second half. And really, on the 1-yard line, what do you do?
I don't know what do you do.
You're trailing 40-6, 8 minutes and 48 seconds left in the period.
How about taking a safety and then kicking the ball out to East Brunswick? No, I'm only kidding, John. All right, look, state tournament time, okay? Among the teams that East Brunswick will be qualifying with will be Stevens, of course, and that game will be played next week with the Bears and the Hawks.
Jimmy, we're looking at Coach Marcus Borden with one of his assistants, Harry Morris. What kind of coach is he? You've talked with him on a number of occasions. I know I have. Maybe you can give us some insight.
Borden has come a long way, John. When he first took over this position, I think he was a little awed by being in the East Brunswick situation. But he has really come along. He's a quiet type of coach when you see him on the sidelines, but I'll tell you what, he has the respect of his team. He's obviously relaxed right now there as you look at him, enjoying the game, but you can believe that when it comes to next week with Stevens, he's going to be very intense again.
Okay, Sayreville from their own 1-yard line. And the ball is fumbled by Repetti. I think he's caught for a safety. Yes, he is.
Sure is. Well, maybe if he had decided to listen to me.
Yeah. Cliff Repetti fumbled the snap and had to fall on it in the end zone for a safety. And now Sayreville will have the option of either punting or kicking back to East Brunswick. It has just completely collapsed for Sayreville.
Sure has.
That makes the score 42-6, Jim. And let's pick up a little bit on that state playoff situation.
Well, again, as I was saying, you have Stevens as one team which is qualified. From the shore area, you have Middletown North, which definitely will be in the running. Even though East Brunswick beat Edison this year, you have to give the Eagles a chance to get in because they can get a 6-1 record, even though they've lost one game. They have an important game today with Brick, by the way.
You're right. That's
East
right.
Brunswick
Big game.
beat this year. A lot of possibilities, but the good thing about East Brunswick's situation is that by being undefeated and having played a predominantly Group 4 schedule, that gives them a better power rating, so they could get the top seed plus a home field advantage.
Okay, Sayreville has elected to punt the ball. They do have the option of either punting the ball or place kicking it. And Sayreville will punt it off to East Brunswick. Back is Chalecki. He's going to field the ball at about his 33. And he's going straight up the middle. Nice run back. Keith Chalecki brings the ball across the the Sayreville 45. And we'll see where they officially mark the ball. First down for East Brunswick at the Sayreville 45. Again, if you're just joining us, East Brunswick's leading 42-6 over Sayreville. A number of changes being made by Coach Marcus Borden to get playing time for some of his second and third team members. Chris Ciliberti is at quarterback and hands off to Glenn Dawson. Dawson fights his way for about a pickup of maybe one. Let's call it 1 yard for 2nd and 9.
You know, we haven't seen Hughes in a while. Let's talk about him for a moment. He is actively being sought by a number of major colleges right now. I talked to him last week, and right now Penn State, Pittsburgh, Boston College, Michigan, Notre Dame are interested in, and I asked him about Rutgers, and he said he isn't interested.
Ciliberti looking to pass, pumps, throwing it on the outside. Oh, just out of the reach of number 81, Craig Hurley.
It's the same type of play that Hughes tried to go after in the first quarter with some better success, and that shows you the difference between Ciliberti and Hughes. Hughes has a stronger arm. He can loft it out there, and in the Ciliberti's defense, I don't think that Curlin is the same type of receiver that Flanagan is.
Well, I think, too, Jim, timing is important, and obviously Ciliberti and Hurley haven't practiced as much as Hughes and Flanagan and the other receivers. So it comes with time. Ciliberti dropping back, puts the ball up after a strong rush, and he's got his man.
For no
Rick
gain.
Calfanian makes the reception, and you're right, Jim, no gain. That'll bring up another 4th down for East Brunswick.
You might have lost something on that too, John.
4th and 9, East Brunswick will probably kick.
Now be 4th down and 10.
We'll see, and Keith Chalecki does drop back the punt.
So now we have a different punter for East Brunswick. Flanagan did the punting the first half.
Simon and Denard are back for Sayreville. Here's Chalecki's punt. It's up high, not very long. Bounds down around the 40 and rolls out of bounds at the 20. And Sayreville will start once again for their 3rd possession of the second half.
Got to say a little something about East Brunswick's defense. We mentioned that they have good size. You got Jeff Roberto, Greg Zambrovitz, Paul Lynch, and I'm just naming a few here. I really see a good matchup with Stevens next week. They really have the ability to cover that quick quarterback, Robert Thomas, for Stevens and Grubbs, and that should be an interesting game.
Repetti starts off with Sayreville on their own 20. Handoff to number 33, Dan Armetta. And Armetta picks up maybe 5 yards.
Well, I didn't get a chance to ask Thea DeSadas at halftime where Bouchard was, but I don't even see him on the sidelines there, so one must assume that he has a fairly severe injury.
Although it may be safe to say, Jim, he would not have made a difference in today's game. I don't think so.
I think so. I think you're right.
Okay, Repetti once again going to the air. Looks to the outside to number 81 for Sayreville, Phil Esteves. And Esteves picks up about 4 yards. Bringing a 3rd down for Sayreville at about the 26-yard line.
You know, we didn't see Pazinko today. Glenn Pazinko, that is, and he is also being touted as a Division I college prospect. I'd like to say a word about him in a second.
Okay. Repetti brings Sayreville up. 3rd down and about 4. A handoff to Armetta. And Armetta stopped at the line of scrimmage, bringing up a 4th down for Sayreville.
Okay, Glenn Pazinko is about 6'2", about 190, and is a legitimate 4'4" man in the 40-yard dash. Good size, but his height is going to make him an excellent candidate for safety when it comes to Division I college, and a couple of teams are actively pursuing him.
Sayreville goes into punt formation. Diker will once again punt the ball, and back is Keith Chalecki for East Brunswick. Good snap from center. Here's the punt, just getting it off. And Chalecki will let it bounce around, and it's down by a Sayreville player at about the 47-yard line of East Brunswick. So East Brunswick will go on offense again, leading 42-6 with 5 minutes and 36 seconds left before half.
Okay, there's Pazinko on the sideline. As you see, he's not wearing his shoulder pads. He didn't play, but I'm sure he's enjoying the game.
And he needs a rest, let's face it. He's been a workhorse this year for East Brunswick, and with a slight injury, Marcus Borden doesn't want to take a chance. Ciliberti hands off to Dawson, and Dawson picks up about 2 yards, making it a 2nd and 8 for East Brunswick.
Number 75, Billy Martin, for Sayreville, on the back.
You see Harry Morris to the far left there, the East Brunswick coach for charge of offensive line. He's done a good job this year.
All the assistant coaches, and I think they deserve some recognition. If we can, we'll get to them and mention them by name. Ciliberti on a quick look in, just behind Hurley a little bit, incomplete, but the pass play was there.
Oh, it sure was. He was open.
As Hughes and Flanagan showed us early in the game, you can pass on Sayreville.
Well, that's been a weakness of Sayreville's this year. In their 4 games previous to this one, they lost to Woodbridge and they lost to Stevens, which are both good quality teams. They've beaten Perth Amboy and Cedar Ridge, and those are suspects teams.
All right, East Brunswick with about a 3rd and 8. Ciliberti's dropping back. It looks like a screen to the outside and over the head of number 21, Vinny Vitale. It just didn't set up well. And it'll be a punting situation for East Brunswick.
John, if you want to look ahead to East Brunswick's schedule for the remainder of this season, of course we've got the Stevens contest next week. It's a 1 p.m. game. It's at JP Stevens. Then they follow with Cedar Ridge, which will now be the homecoming game.
That's
That'll
right.
be on November 3rd.
We do want to mention that to our viewers, that the homecoming game has been moved to the Cedar Ridge game, and we hope to see a large turnout here. Chalecki punting. High punt, very high. Sayreville man calling a fair catch at about the 22-yard line of Sayreville. And they'll start again.
I think Charlie King ought to get an award for the way he scheduled this season, because with the Union game being canceled, they opened up with Brick. It was like about a week before the normal schedule started for high school football. And as a result now, East Brunswick can conceivably have 2 off weeks following the Cedar Ridge game to prepare for the state tournament.
State playoffs, right.
And that could help, but again, it could work against them. They can become flat.
Sayreville starting from their own 22. They're trailing 42-6. Petty on a inside handoff.
I should mention, John, that they're not going to have 2 weeks off. They're going to have 1 week off, and then that second week, which would normally be open, will be when they open up state tournament action.
Joe Muscali carrying the ball for Sayreville. Picked up about 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. I'm surprised, Jim, that Sayreville hasn't tried passing. You're down a host of points here near the end of the 3rd period. You don't need to establish a running game at this point.
Well, I think it's a matter, John, of Theodosidis recognizing that the game is out of hand. They just want to play it out right now, do nothing fancy, and see what Repetti can do.
Muscali picks up the first down for Sayreville, bringing the ball up to around the 34-yard line. We have about 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the 3rd period. Petty calling the signals. Inside handoff down the line, off the right side. And Muscali is tripped up, picks up maybe a half yard. Let's call it 2nd and about 8.
3 minutes left to go in the 3rd period, John. This quarter is moving a little bit faster than the first 2.
Well, I think because Sayreville has maintained a running game, not many timeouts. And let's face it, they want to get out of here and get it over with. Repetti on a...
It's a fumble. I think East Brunswick
Repetti tried to pitch the ball out, was hit and dropped. It is a fumble, and East Brunswick recovers. The recovery is by number 48, Chris Brill. And so East Brunswick takes over at the Sayreville 34-yard line.
John, I believe we have a new quarterback coming in.
Number 15 for East Brunswick, Eric Amkraut. Eric Amkraut, who's a senior, and he's getting a little playing time from Marcus Boyden.
He sure is.
I think that's great. Amkraut now in at quarterback for East Brunswick. Inside to Glenn Dawson. Dawson breaks one tackle and is tripped up. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. We'll see.
That was Hoover on the tackle for Sayreville, and he's got some possibilities for college ball. I talked to him earlier in the year. He's a fine leader, good size. He's about 5'11", 195, 200 pounds, and he's a real good linebacker for Sayreville.
And there's an official timeout on the field. So while we have this timeout, Jimmy, let's talk a little bit about the Sayreville program, in the sense that it is a program like any other athletic program. The coach is trying, obviously, to win, but he's also trying to establish a tradition that will inspire other athletes coming in from the junior highs to participate in the program.
Yeah, that's exactly so, John. The Theater Desatis, if nothing else, is a fine motivator, and he tells me he has been doing everything possible to get the kids to come out for the team, and there has to be some benefits to that in the future.
Amkraut takes the snap, looks in quick inside for Tim King. The ball was short.
He's a southpaw, John.
Yeah, one we haven't seen. I don't think. I mean, maybe one of our viewers can correct me, but the last southpaw quarterback we had was Dave Wall, and that goes back a few years. But if he's anywhere near Dave Wall, he's got some future.
That's true.
It's third down for East Brunswick. They're on the Sayreville 34. 3rd and 10. Amkraut rolls right, looking to pass, being pressured. He breaks away. He puts the ball up in the air. It's intercepted by Sayreville. Number 70 for Sayreville. Bob Tamazowski, he could go all the way. He's going to. And Sayreville gets on the board.
That was an interesting play, John. I think Amkraut was just a little bit premature in trying to get rid of that ball. He probably would have been better off if he held on to it. And who was that, number 70 for
Number
Sayreville?
70 was Bob Tamazowski.
Tomaszewski, I believe is how he's called. And he simply just outran the East Brunswick defender.
Good speed for a man his size.
Oh, excellent speed.
Al, you touched on it briefly. Amkraut hasn't played much, and he made a mistake of someone who is inexperienced.
Right.
All right, Sayreville will go for the extra point. It's now 42-12 East Brunswick. 1 minute and 14 left here in the third period. Haley will attempt the extra point. The ball is down. The kick is up.
Got a flag.
We have a procedure against Sayreville, and so they'll try that extra point once again. That'll back them up 5 yards.
John, I know we can't see the crowd, but everybody's still hanging in here.
I think they're looking for the route.
Oh, I see we got a wave going here. A mini wave at the East Brunswick side.
Unfortunately, we can't get it on camera, but you're right, Jim. The crowd is into this game, despite the fact that the score is 42-12. Sayreville now backed up 5 more yards. We'll try the extra point. Here's the snap. The ball is placed down. Haley's kick is good, giving Sayreville their 13th point of the game, with East Brunswick now leading 42-13.
John, you see the camera panning over to the flagpole there. I don't know if you can pick him out. He's sort of walking off to the left side there. That's Charlie King, the East Brunswick athletic director. In my mind, he's one of the finest athletic administrators in the state. He has done so much to bring this East Brunswick program to the point it is. Had to make some tough decisions after George Tardiff, the previous East Brunswick coach, left to go back to Kansas and coach in college. Brought in Mark Borden. What can you say about the type of job that Borden has done? But it took the reception of Charlie King to recognize what an asset Borden could be to this program. I have all the admiration in the world for him.
I agree with you, Jim. He's been very helpful to us at Channel 8. Making himself available in the coaches. Sayreville tries an onside kick, and it's recovered quickly by Paul Lynch. And East Brunswick will have the ball at about the 47-yard line, their own 47, and they'll take over again. They lead 42-13 here with about a minute and 10 seconds to go in the third period. Jim, you mentioned the assistant coaches, and it might be a good time to run down the staff that Marcus Borden has. Everyone knows that one man alone cannot do the job that East Brunswick has done this year.
Sure, we'll do that in a second, John.
Here comes number 21, Vitale. And Vitale, go off the right side, picks up about 8 yards. Nice run.
John, I think we ought to first mention the two coaches that are in the box directly underneath us, Frank Knoppenberger and John Emery. Emery is a familiar name to East Brunswick football. I haven't been the head basketball coach also, but he has been spotting along with Knoppenberger for a number of years and really has done a lot to make the offensive shots for Borden easier. He's made a lot of observations and really has been just an excellent.
Jim, I just want to set the new East Brunswick offense. That's Mark Rodelbron at quarterback now for East Brunswick.
Oops, we got a flag.
A flag is thrown. Rodelbron looked to pass and decided to run the ball.
Could have been a little piling on at the end there. Sure is.
And that's what it is. It's a personal foul against Sayreville. Rodelbron only picked up about a yard.
Well, if I'm right, this is the fourth East Brunswick quarterback today.
You're right, as Marcus Borden is moving him in and out, giving him some playing time. Personal foul against Sayreville. First down, East Brunswick. Moving the ball down to the 27-yard line of Sayreville.
Let's talk about the coaches again. We got, as I mentioned, Harry Morris, offensive and defensive line coach. Nick Spadafino, who handles the linebackers.
That's the end of the third quarter, Jimmy. Just keep our fans up to date. East Brunswick leads 42-13. And as we move on to the fourth quarter, and let's take a look at the East Brunswick cheerleaders, who are an integral part of any football game and who work maybe as hard as the players themselves.
Sorry, we don't know all the names. We can tell by the horns what their first names are.
And here they go. They're going to give us, I believe, their pyramid. Okay, East Brunswick with the ball. We start the fourth period. They lead 42-13. Host of new players in and out of the game. We've been trying to keep you informed. If you're just with us, we've just started the fourth period. I'm John Meggiolaro with Jimmy Allinder from the Sentinel newspaper. He's joining me in the booth and has been of great help this afternoon. East Brunswick has the ball. I'm trying to pick up the yard marker. I believe it's at the 26-yard line. Rodelbron is the quarterback. A quick pass outside to number 80. Dave Brown, incomplete. We ask that you bear with us as we try to identify these players. It brings up a third down and 9 for East Brunswick, and the ball's on the 27.
John Mark's just a junior, 5'9", 155. And this playing experience is going to do just marvelous wonders for these kids. There's nothing like getting under fire, varsity action.
Here we go, Rodelbron on quarterback. He drops back. The screen is set up. Oh, and a nice catch by Vitale.
Might have been well to drop that one, huh?
I think so. But you have to understand some of these second and third team players are looking to impress the coaches. They haven't played a great deal of time. And so they're playing hungry, aggressive football.
You got a fourth down situation, John. What do you do in a case like this? With a lead like 42-13?
I would think that Coach Borden will punt. He doesn't want to put too much of a licking on Sayreville if he can help it. And let Sayreville play offense.
That's Shalecki back.
Shalecki will do the punting. Oops. The punt is high. Nice catch by Shalecki. And the ball is blocked. Sayreville blocks the ball. And it's going to roll out of bounds at the East Brunswick 37. So Sayreville finally got in the block of punt for East Brunswick. And this may give them a little life, Jim. Their score that they had in the third period was the first since the first quarter.
Well, if you remember, Sayreville came back immediately after East Brunswick scored Could have gone up, as a matter of fact, but missed on the extra point. Then East Brunswick took over, just drove on some big plays, and then they scored a touchdown on the turnover. So here they are again.
Simon is the new quarterback for Sayreville. We'll see if he can do anything. Takes the inside handoff, sweeps left, and is taken down at about the line of scrimmage.
John Simon was in a battle with Reuploaded at the beginning of this year for the starting quarterback position, and he is a junior, and could be Sayreville's future. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see Simon play more and more during the rest of the season. They do have some tough games coming up. I'll run them over in a second.
Let's call it 2nd and 10 for Sayreville on the East Brunswick 37. Simon keeping the ball out to the left side, and is hit hard there by the East Brunswick defense, led by Vin Vitale, number 21.
Okay, John, Sayreville will be hosting Colonia next week, and Colonia is 4-1 at this time and is definitely a threat to make the playoffs. And then they're going to move to Madison Central for a Friday night game. That's November 2nd. The Spartans appear to be a much improved ball club over the team that East Brunswick beat in the second game of the season.
That's right.
I believe they have an off week, and then they will play South River on Thanksgiving Day.
3rd and 8 for Sayreville. And we have movement in the backfield. That's going to be against Sayreville. Simon looking to throw the ball. Oh, and almost picked off. Fine defensive play by number 36, Brian Elkin. I think we have a procedure call against Sayreville, which will move them back. And that's what the call is.
Hey, John, we neglected to say that Sayreville will be playing Edison on November 10th. Then they have their off week, and then they will meet South River on Thanksgiving Day. That's going to be a good game. South River, as you know, traditionally has been a fine club. They're not having as good a year as they normally would. It doesn't appear that they're going to make the playoffs, although they are mathematically still in it. But I think Sayreville definitely has a shot at beating South River this year.
Well, they put up a gallant effort anyway this afternoon. They are trailing 42-13 with 9 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the game. And they face a 4th and about 8 on their own 37. Simon, the quarterback, drops deep, rolls right, is looking down the center of the field. He's got a man, but Vitale picks it off for East Brunswick. East Brunswick has just been so strong on defense. And Vinny Vitale comes up with the interception, giving East Brunswick the ball on the Sayreville 9.
John, I'm watching the East Brunswick players on the sidelines now. You know, they can get rather complacent at this time of the game, but they're all up on the sidelines. They're rooting the team on, even though they're first stringers that are sitting. And again, this is the type of camaraderie that's developed by a coach who knows what he's doing, who makes a team work like a unit.
Rodelbrom's quarterback. He's got Dawson and Shalecki in the backfield, and that's a handoff to Dawson for a pickup of about 1 yard line. Jim, you started mentioning some of the coaches. I don't know if we got through all of them, but I would like to mention some of the staff that Marcus Borden has with him.
Yeah, we mentioned Harry Morris to start with. Nick Spadafino, who's been there a while, handles the linebackers, special team coordinator. We mentioned Emery Knoppenberger, George Convery, he's the assistant freshman coach, and you got head freshman coach Dave Brooks, and then Kevin Rafferty.
Rodelbrom pitches to Vitale on a sweep right. He's tripped up by a fine defensive play by a Sayreville man. And it looks like a loss of about 1 yard, bringing up a 3rd down and about 11 for East Brunswick.
Number 37 of the Bombers.
Third and 15, the ball's on the Sayreville, East Brunswick 5 yard line. East Brunswick hand off to Dawson. Dawson really gets nowhere. It'll be a 4th down play for East Brunswick and a short punting situation. Fourth down from East Brunswick. The ball on about the 6 yard line. Lead 42-13. There's 7 minutes and 10 seconds left in this game.
That'll be a nice afternoon, John. Sun's come out.
It did. The weather held up nice. In fact, it was warmer than we expected.
Oh, really? Let's enjoy it now.
East Brunswick's called a timeout, and Marcus Borden is going out to talk with the team.
You know, another one of the significant things I think that Charlie King has done was to pick up Phil Hostler, the trainer who you see there on your screen. Phil is one of the most renowned athletic trainers in the state of New Jersey. He's done a lot of clinics and was with Rutgers last year. And previous to that, he was with Madison Central and decided to come back to the high school scene and has done a lot. He's a strong advocate of preventive injury. Has developed a lot of good weight training techniques and really is a good asset for East Brunswick, I think.
All right, time has been called back in. East Brunswick has the ball on their own 5-yard line, a 4th down and about 15, and Chalecki will punt once again. A good punt by Chalecki, hits on the 30-yard line, and it'll be down at about the 32, where Sayreville will take over once again.
It looks like the punter was injured on that play. I'm surprised a roughing wasn't called. Hey, we ought to mention what a fine job the officials did this afternoon, huh, John?
Very good job. Right on top of every call. There haven't been many penalties, quite honestly, and which has allowed for a smooth game.
Well, I think that's significant for East Brunswick's case, as I'm going to say in a moment.
Simon leading the Sayreville offense onto the field. They have the ball 1st and 10. An inside handoff, a little confusion there.
John, one of the problems or concerns that Borden had this year was the number of penalties, high number of penalties that East Brunswick had last week against Woodbridge. I think they had 7 major penalties, which weren't significant to that at that point. But against a team like J.P. Stevens, you're just can't afford to do that. And they look very well this afternoon. They played very well, avoided the major penalty.
Okay, Sayreville has the ball at the East Brunswick 31-yard line, 2nd and about 7. Simon, the quarterback, fakes the inside handoff, rolls out right, and is stopped by a tough East Brunswick defense led by number 50, Mike Steinberg. Mike's playing a great defensive game. He's
really
noted for his offensive prowess as a center, but has been on a number of tackles this afternoon.
He sure has. He's just an indication of just a good athlete on his part. We ought to identify some of those other players on the line for East Brunswick. We got number 60 in there, Darwin Jones. 63, that would be Roberto. Of course, he's been the starter all afternoon.
All right, Sayreville, 3rd down and about 7. Simon drops back to pass, looks inside to his man. He's got a man open and misses. Phil Stevies. Stevies was open, and Simon just couldn't get the ball on the money to him. It was a little wide.
Steve Datz, number 57, junior down there on right end. And number 71, that's Ted Pazinko, who's been the first-string kicker for East Brunswick. He's getting a lot of action. Teddy's just a sophomore himself, 5'11", 185.
Sayreville now with a 4th and about 7, and they have elected to go, trailing 42-13. Simon once again drops back, looks for a screen up in the center.
Steinberg.
But there's Steinberg again.
Ooh, somebody got nailed there.
Major hit, and Vitale put a little lick on him there to finish him off.
A lot of fun out there now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think this is a time where you just buckle the chin straps and go at it. That's a difference, Jim, when you know that a mistake on your part is not going to lose a game for you.
Absolutely.
East Brunswick takes over on their own 27. Rodelbron is the quarterback. And on a quarterback keep, he moves up about 4 yards, picks up 4 yards. So now they even have Mike Rodelbron on that quarterback keep.
Sure. Why not? You try anything. I can't remember. Has there been many passes in this quarter?
If there have been, nothing of any particular note. I think Marcus Borden is allowing them to gain some experience both at handing off and throwing the ball. Because again, you never know when you may have to call on one of these young players. Here's a handoff to Dawson.
I'm not sure you can hear it, but the East Brunswick band is in the background. They're playing, doing a fine job.
Jim, I do want to mention one thing, and again, we've mentioned that we cannot pan our crowd here on the East Brunswick side, but most of them have stayed around for the conclusion of this game.
Yeah, well, I think they're starting to drift out right now, if you notice. Like, again, just enjoying this game. We got a fine day.
3rd and 6 for East Brunswick on their own 32. Rotobrom, hands off. That's Dawson again. It looks like a face mask.
He caught it.
And the ref picked that one up. Rotobrom brings the ball up to the 35, but they're going to add some yardage to that on a face mask by Sayreville.
That stops the clock, too.
Stops the clock, which I think adds a little misery to Sayreville's day. There's 3 minutes and 44 seconds left in the game as the officials mark off a face mask call against Sayreville.
East Brunswick's now in Sayreville territory. I think it would be nice for the second and third team here to push it across the score if they could. Again, a lot of juniors, sophomores playing here, and it'd be nice for them to know what it is to get into the end zone.
An important thing too, Jim. They are part of the team. They root for that first team as hard as anyone. Here's a nice handoff and run by Dawson.
Hey, we got to give Dawson a good pat on the back there. He's really done an excellent job.
Dawson picks up around 6 yards in that carry.
I have to assume that he's the leading ball carrier for East Brunswick today.
I think so.
He was at the first half, and I know that the first teamers didn't get in.
Ball's on the Sayreville 43. We have a second and about 3. 3 minutes left to go in this game. 42-13 East Brunswick. Here's Vitale fighting his way up the middle, and I think he's got the first down. Jim, it's a good win from East Brunswick. They did some things they wanted to do, obviously. Got some of their second and third team players in. They came out, it appears, injury-free, and that's all you can ask, really. And Dawson fighting his way down. He picks up another 5 yards. You have to be impressed with this young guy.
Yeah, I think he's going to be, somebody that East Brunswick can use in the future. You've got Dawson there, who's shown himself well. Vitale is a senior. But Ronald Broom's got some playing time. He's a junior. Okay, Ciliberti and the other gentleman who was playing quarterback for East Brunswick. Amkraut, yeah. They're both seniors.
Rotobron at quarterback. Looking for a handoff. I think there's a misplay there.
Sure.
And we're under 2 minutes. East Brunswick leading 42-13. And at this time in the game, I'd like to thank you, Jim, for joining me this afternoon. It's been a real pleasure to have you, get your insight. We here at Channel 8 would like to thank Charlie King for providing us with the accommodations, for Coach Marcus Borden and his staff for their cooperation this afternoon. And in general, to all those people who put on a fine football game, the high school Bear marching band, the cheerleaders. Rotobron hands off to Dawson. And that's going to bring up a 4th down and about 5 to go. We're about 1 minute and 10 to go in the game.
It'll be interesting to find out what Borden has to say after the game. We're going to be talking to him.
Excuse me, Jim, we have a timeout by Sayreville. I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
No, I was just saying that Borden probably is... We'll have a couple interesting marks to say. I think now the team can finally turn and put its attention towards J.P. Stevens. Ever since the Edison game, I think it became very obvious that J.P. Stevens is going to be the biggest game of the year for East Brunswick. They've had some problems with Stevens in the past, and that's not to say that you look at past performances to determine how they're going to do this year. But I recall a game about 4 years ago when Len Beleza was the running back. Well, East Brunswick went up to Stevens and could have won that game. As a matter of fact, they had a 2-touchdown lead going into the 4th quarter and 2 rather freak touchdowns on the part of Stevens.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
turned the game over.
Right.
That prevented East Brunswick from winning the Middlesex County Athletic Championship. And I know that is one of the team goals this year, to win the conference title.
quite honestly, Jim, it's the biggest game East Brunswick's had in a number of years.
I think that's good judgment to say that.
All right, Rodelbrom on 4th and about 3, hands off to Dawson. Dawson breaks one tackle, running outside, but he's going to be pulled down short of the first down, and Sayreville will take over the ball with about 50 seconds left in this game. Well, it's been everything we expected. Fireworks on offense, tough, tenacious defense. East Brunswick went over their average in terms of scoring and held their opponent under their average this afternoon.
Yes, they did. Yeah, I think they were giving up about 18 points a game, I believe it was, but kept Sayreville below, or just 2 touchdowns.
And we have a timeout on the field by Sayreville with 46 seconds left, Jim. I would think that Sayreville will go back home, regroup, forget about this game. They did some things well. Their running game, that inside counter that they run, was successful. They need to improve on their passing.
Sure.
But they'll regroup, and I think we're seeing the makings of a fine program in Sayreville.
I'd be interested to know, again, how Bouchard is, because if Sayreville is going to have a shot at achieving a 500 record this year, and it's going to be tough because they have to play Edison, they have to play Colonia, Madison Central. These are all fine teams. I'm not sure if Sayreville is in that class, but they're certainly going to need Bouchard if they're going to win.
Sayreville has the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 37, and we have a flag down. Some movement along the line. 46 seconds left in the game. It's a foregone conclusion. East Brunswick had this game put away in the first quarter, actually.
The first down now is 15 yards to go to the Bombers.
Okay, Simon throwing deep, downfield, incomplete. Nice pass. I do want to say that Jimmy Allinder, who joined us this afternoon in the booth, has left to go down and talk with the coaches and fulfill his responsibilities as a sports writer for the Sentinel. I want to personally thank Jimmy for being with us this afternoon. Did an excellent job and provided us with some great information. This game is winding down. We have 38 seconds left. East Brunswick's leading 42-13. Sayreville in desperation, throwing the ball, center screen. Steinberg's right there. It's all academic at this point. It's a win for East Brunswick. They'll go 6-0 and look towards J.P. Stevens next week in a big game, while Sayreville will fall to 2-3. Hurry up offense for Sayreville. Simon at quarterback. We're under 15 seconds. Simon looks deep, throws. I think we're going to have a flag interference. 36, the ball was picked off by Brian Elkin, but I think we're going to get pass interference on Chalecki for East Brunswick. 5 seconds left. At this point, I'd like to take a moment to thank Pete Canamessa and Dave Ambrosi, our camera crew this afternoon, doing another outstanding job. And let me mention, with 5 seconds left in the game, that Channel 8 enjoys bringing these type of activities to you, particularly sporting activities. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we'd like to hear from you in terms of your opinion as to whether you'd like to see more of this kind of coverage. If you would kindly call us at the studio, and the number, as you see on the screen, is 390-6780. Please give us a call and let us know. It's been my pleasure being with you this afternoon. The game is now over. East Brunswick winning 42-13. For everyone associated with Channel 8 and Sports Talk, have a good afternoon.
As is suggested, make sure you buckle up.